For the first time, Russia today has reported a Ukrainian incursion onto its territory. Moscow says the target was a fuel facility near the border. Ukrainian officials have not confirmed the attack. Meantime, fierce battles continue in major population centers and in Mariupol, now a symbol of Ukraine's suffering. New attempts at mass evacuations of civilians failed again. Ukraine said 3,000 residents were able to escape today, but a Red Cross team planning to deliver aid and evacuate residents was blocked from reaching the city. With support from the Pulitzer Center, special correspondent Jack Hewson begins our coverage.
A massive early morning explosion, but this time inside Russia. An oil depot in the city of Belgorod went up in a fireball near the Ukrainian border. Video emerged on social media of Ukrainian helicopter gunships allegedly used in the attack. Ukraine's foreign minister wouldn't comment.
I can neither confirm nor reject the claim that Ukraine was involved in this.
But Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said it could stall progress for a tentative peace plan.
Of course, this is not something that can be perceived as creating comfortable conditions to continue peace talks.
Regardless, both sides resumed talks by phone today, following up on in-person negotiations in Turkey earlier in the week. But so far, no signs of a breakthrough. Meanwhile, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant is now under Ukrainian control after the last remaining Russian occupiers left the facility early this morning. Yesterday, Ukraine's nuclear regulator said the Russian troops were exposed to significant levels of radiation from digging trenches around the site of the 1986 nuclear disaster. But today in Vienna, the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Grossi, said he had no confirmation of that and that radiation levels were under control.
The general radiation situation around the plant is quite normal. There was a relatively higher level of localized radiation because of the movement of heavy vehicles at the time of the occupation of the plant, and apparently this might have been the case again in the way out.
On the battlefield, Ukrainians continue to put up strong resistance.
How to explain what war is? This is not normal. But we did not go to another's territory. I am obliged to protect my children, my land, my home.
Today, Ukraine retook 2 villages in the north, near Chernihiv, along main supply routes to Kyiv. US defense officials tell PBS NewsHour 20 to 25% of Russian forces outside Kyiv have repositioned away from the capital. But Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky warned that was always part of Moscow's plan.
We know that they are pulling away from directions where we hit them to concentrate on other very important directions where it will be very difficult for us.
President Zelensky said the Russians are preparing to carry out more strikes in the southeast Donbass region and in the northeast in the direction of Kharkiv. The once bustling metropolis, known for its landmark Soviet architecture, is now unrecognizable, largely deserted.
The general sense of people in Kharkiv is one of defiance, one of pride at the territorial gains that have been made, a general stoicism. But there's also anxiety about how long this war is going to last for, whether the Russians are going to dig in, and what's going to happen next.
Farther south in Mariupol, residents waited for relief. Today, a perilous operation got underway to rush desperately needed humanitarian aid into the besieged city and evacuate residents trapped for weeks by the bombardment. Some residents managed to get out, but a large-scale Red Cross evacuation failed. Their effort has been made even more difficult by the relentless urban warfare as Russian soldiers keep fighting for control of the city. Earlier this week, local residents filmed the chaos following yet another brutal strike. As the desperation mounts, so too do the casualties of this 37-day-long war. In the northwestern city of Lutsk, mourners grieve for a Ukrainian serviceman killed by shelling near Mykolaiv.
There cannot be any peace with Russians. I will never forgive them for the death of my father.
His dad, one of many who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in this battle to preserve Ukraine's democracy. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Jack Hewson in Kharkiv, Ukraine.